in the coastal village, where the sea was both a provider and a feared god. Legends of water spirits, Mami Wata, shaped every aspect of life. It was said they could walk among humans, blending seamlessly into the village until water revealed their true form. For generations, this myth kept the villagers on edge, watching for signs of the supernatural among them. For Taye, a humble fisherman, such tales were nothing more than bedtime stories. But his life changed forever when, after a violent storm, he found a beautiful woman washed ashore. Her skin shimmered in the sunlight. Her long dark hair clung to her face, and her blue-green eyes reflected the restless waves. When she awoke, her voice was soft, her words hesitant. She didn't remember where she came from or how she ended up on the beach. Taye, captivated by her beauty and mystery, took her home and named her Morayo, meaning, "I have found joy," despite the warnings of the elders, who muttered darkly about her being a water spirit. Taye fell deeply in love with Morayo. She was kind and graceful, her laughter brightening his days. Within months, they married, and Morayo became a beloved part of Taye's life. But Taye couldn't ignore the strange things that happened when Morayo was near water. Her movements became more fluid. Her skin seemed to glisten unnaturally, and once, when water accidentally spilled on her hand, he thought he saw scales glinting in the sunlight. He dismissed it as a trick of the light, until the birth of their twins, Dara and If, who displayed otherworldly traits. Dara could swim like a fish before he could walk, and Ifananya's voice could calm the roughest seas. As the years passed, the villagers grew wary of Morayo and her children. They whispered about her strange beauty, her odd aversion to bathing in public, and the unnatural abilities of her twins. "She is not one of us," they murmured. "She hides something." The tipping point came when a terrible drought struck. The villagers believed they had angered the sea and needed to make amends. Some began to blame Morayo, claiming she was a spirit sent to punish them. "She is the cause of this," they said. "We must reveal her true form." One fateful day, the villagers cornered Morayo in the village square. Taye stood protectively by her side, his children clutching his hands. Elder Bode stepped forward, holding a bucket of water. "If you are truly human, this will not harm you," he declared. "But if you are a spirit, the water will reveal your truth." Morayo's heart pounded as she stared at the bucket. She turned to Taye, her eyes pleading. "You must trust me," she whispered. Taye stepped forward, his voice firm. "You will not harm her. She has done nothing wrong." But the villagers were relentless. Before Taye could stop them, they poured the water over Morayo. As the water cascaded down her body, the transformation began. Scales shimmered on her arms. Her legs fused briefly into a long, glistening tail before splitting apart again, and her eyes glowed a luminous blue. The crowd gasped, some falling to their knees in terror. Morayo, drenched and trembling, looked at her hands, her secret exposed. "Yes," she said softly. "I am Mami Wata, but I chose this life. I chose love." As the villagers stared in shock, the sky darkened and the wind howled. The ocean surged violently, waves crashing against the shore. A booming voice echoed across the land. "You have dishonored one of my own," it said. "Now you will pay the price." The villagers panicked, pleading for forgiveness. Morayo stepped forward, her voice steady. "Great Spirit of the sea, do not harm them. They acted out of fear. Punish me, but spare my family." The voice grew quieter. "You would sacrifice yourself for these mortals?" "Yes," Morayo replied, tears streaming down her face. "Because I love them." The sea demanded a choice. Morayo could return to the water and save the village, or remain human, but the village would suffer the wrath of the ocean. Morayo turned to Taye and her children, her heart breaking. "I must go," she said. "For you, for them." Taye fell to his knees, clutching her hand. "Don't leave us. There has to be another way." But Morayo shook her head. "My love for you is eternal. But this is my destiny." She kissed her children, whispered a promise to Taye, and walked into the waves. Her shimmering tail replaced her legs as she dove beneath the surface, disappearing into the depths. The storm calmed instantly, leaving the villagers in stunned silence. In the years that followed, the villagers honored Morayo as a guardian spirit, offering gifts to the sea to thank her for her sacrifice. Taye, though heartbroken, raised their children with pride. Dara became a fearless fisherman, and Ifananya's songs brought peace to the village. On quiet nights, Taye would sit by the shore, listening to the waves. Sometimes, he swore he could hear Morayo's voice, a soft melody carried by the wind, reminding him that their love had bridged to worlds.